Today we are digging deeper into a new report that more children are being diagnosed with ADHD. So that's according to some new data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which shows 1 out of every 9 kids will be diagnosed at some point in their lives.
It shows over 7 million children and adolescents have gotten an ADHD diagnosis as well. Joining us this afternoon is Dr. Ashley Garling from UT Austin's College of Pharmacy. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So let's try to break this down. Are we seeing more cases of ADHD, or are we just more aware of it? What is your opinion on this?
Well, it's always hard to tell in healthcare. You always have to ask, is it the chicken or the egg? Are we actually diagnosing it more because there's more education and awareness, or are we actually seeing more prevalence? And unfortunately, we don't really have a good answer in this case.
And what are the signs and the symptoms of ADHD? And do we know yet what the actual cause is of ADHD?
Well, the cause, we have several links to different things, anything from lead exposure to in utero exposure to cigarettes and alcohol, but really the prime thing is genetics. We typically find that a parent or a close family member will have either symptoms of ADHD or been diagnosed themselves.
And talking about those symptoms, just tell us the things that you would watch out for.
So there are 3 categories of symptoms. Of course, you always want the inattention, so that difficulty focusing. You want the impulsivity, which is that kind of difficulty having that kind of self-control or speaking without thinking. And then you have the hyperactivity, lots of energy, lots of talking, lots of motion, things like that. And so a lot of times there's a combination of not just one of those, but 2 or 3 of those symptom categories.
Okay, is there a concern though about overdiagnosing when it comes to ADHD?
That's a great question. I'm personally not concerned about overdiagnosing, but what I really want to impress on parents and individuals is appropriate diagnosing. There is not one good test for ADHD. It's really a collection of symptoms that need to come from a variety of places. So when it comes to a child, you need to talk to teachers, other adult caregivers, other parents, and people in their lives to see, is this happening in more than just one place? And when it comes to the study, you have to think it was 2022, the tail end of the pandemic, when we were seeing a rise in other things such as mental health conditions, anxiety, stress, depression, which have overlapping symptoms to ADHD. So we need to rule all that other out as well. So it's not a one-stop shop for a diagnosis.
When you're diagnosing adults versus children, is it harder to diagnose adults?
It's not necessarily harder, but it is different. Typically with an adult, they have had symptoms throughout their life, whether they have noticed it or not. The brain is great at providing coping mechanisms, and so they may have provided themselves coping mechanisms for their symptoms and not realized it. But then all of a sudden something happens, stress, change in work, and the coping mechanisms break down, but the symptoms show up more. So really, you have to have 5 symptoms in an adult or 6 symptoms in a child in 2 or more places, home, work, school, things like that. And then it has to be long term. So over 6 months that you're seeing these. And the big kicker is it has to reduce quality of life. It has to affect relationships, productivity, your academic progress, things like that.
And let's talk about treatment. What are the treatment options? Obviously, we know there is medication, but are there other options as well?
Yes, there are tons of options, and again, we like a collection of solutions. So not just, there's no one magic pill, unfortunately. I wish we could find one, but we always want to impress mental health counseling, behavioral counseling. There's also, for children in school, having an individualized education plan or an IEP is excellent. Work with your school. A lot of times they're very well equipped to work with parents, but have a plan for work. If you're out working, talk to HR, make an accommodation plan for yourself, and have a home plan. I always give myself 3 things to achieve in a day, and if I achieve one of them, I'm happy with my executive functioning. But if I get 2 or 3, that's an amazing day. But setting realistic goals is very, very important.
Dr. Ashley Garling, thank you so much for joining us today and explaining this topic, which is multifaceted, obviously. So
it really is.
Thanks for breaking it down for us.